Well, there's a bit of sad news out of the Vatican today. We all have heard that Pope Francis has passed away day after Easter. For me, as a Catholic person myself, I never thought I would mourn the loss of a pope. But Pope Francis felt a little different, unlike Pope Benedict, who really didn't do anything for me at all. Francis felt genuinely humble and connected to the people. He stayed mostly, I would say, out of controversy, and he spoke with compassion. And even when he, clashed with other people's opinions, he did try to remain a leader that didn't put too much judgment. At a time when the Catholic Church was drowning in scandals, he even brought hope and a possibility that real change might happen, even if justice never fully came. It felt that way. Pope Francis was the son of Italian immigrants, Jorge. He was a street smart kid who once dreamed of being a chemist and even had a girlfriend in his youth. Pope Francis did not know he wanted to become a pope or even a priest at a young age. He had very different plans for his life. As a young man, Francis Bergoglio studied chemistry and even worked as a technician in a lab. He had a girlfriend, yes, and enjoyed dancing the tango. Here's an image of his girlfriend. And he was considering marriage. But at the age of 17, something changed. He went to confession and he felt a deep spiritual awakening. He described it as an intense experience of God's mercy, which stayed with him for life. That moment did lead Pope Francis to rethink everything. He gradually felt a calling to a religious life, and eventually he joined the Jesuits. And he once actually said, "I never wanted to be Pope. I didn't even want to be a bishop." He was known for living humbly and staying out of the Vatican politics. So when he was elected in 2013, he was genuinely surprised and reportedly had already packed a ticket back to Argentina. Another thing about Pope Francis, he had part of his lung removed due to a severe illness. He was a bouncer by night and a priest by day. This is the kind of past that you don't usually hear about with popes, but it gave him a deep empathy for people on the margins. He joined the Jesuits, the intellectual rebels of the Catholic world. While most bishops chased hierarchy and power, Bergoglio lived simply, cooking his own meals. He rode the bus instead of taking a car with a chauffeur. During Argentina's dirty war from 1976 to 1983, Bergoglio was accused of not doing enough to protect two Jesuit priests. So decades later, survivors would praise him for quietly helping victims escape the regime. He became a cardinal back in 2001, and he famously told Argentinians not to spend money to fly to Rome to celebrate. He hated attention, and he chose to live in a modest apartment instead of the Archbishop's palace. Now, shockingly, in 2018, he was elected as Pope, and he became the first non-European Pope in 1,200 years, the first Jesuit Pope, and the first to take the name Francis of Assisi, patron saint of the poor. The name choice signaled everything. He was going to be a different type of Pope, the People's Pope. We're seeing images of him washing the feet of Muslim immigrants and kissed disfigured people and lived in a guest house instead of the Vatican Palace. He tweets in 9 languages and once told atheists, "Just do good and we'll find each other there." He launched major reforms to clean up the Vatican's financial mess. He took on the notorious Vatican Bank and even shut down secret accounts. Why the Vatican had secret accounts, your guess is as good as mine. But anytime there's power, we know that there's going to be corruption. He called out capitalism's excesses, climate change denial, and even questioned the morality of nuclear weapons. So Pope Francis has ruffled feathers inside and outside of the church. He was even cool when it came to pop culture. He's been on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine, Times Person of the Year, and even starred in a Netflix documentary. A lot of different people are mourning the loss. He once said he'd rather have a messed up church that goes out into the streets than one that's sick because it's closed in on itself. Major celebrities and world leaders have chimed in on the loss of Pope Francis. Donald Trump posted on his Truth Social, "Rest in peace, Pope Francis. May God bless him and all who loved him." He also ordered flags to be flown at half-mast nationwide in honor of the pontiff. J.D. Vance leaving there. Poor Vice President J.D. Vance, he shared that he met with Pope Francis the day before his passing. I mean, what a trauma, right? Leaving and he dies the next day. But he said that he expresses gratitude for the opportunity and extended sympathy to the millions of Christians all over the world who loved him. And I'm shocked that Joe Biden could even get out a cognitive sentence, but he did. And he stated that Pope Francis will be remembered as one of the most consequential leaders of our time. And he was sure to highlight all the humanitarian work and peaceful humility that Pope Francis had. Keir Starmer acknowledged Pope Francis's tireless efforts to promote a fairer world for all. King Charles III and Queen Camilla expressed that they had heavy hearts, paying tribute to the Pope's compassion and tireless commitment to the people of faith. The Catholic priests today and everyone are going to be feeling it, but especially the people of his home, Argentina. And, we have now President Javier Milei there, who's a big fan of Trump. He expressed his condolences, and the Argentinian government declared 3 days of national mourning in honor of the Pope. And so that is all for this video, but you guys please chime in. Give your thoughts about the church, the Catholic Church, the faith. Do you feel that the next Pope that we get will be better? And maybe we can get some sort of resolution on some of the things that the Catholic Church has been accused of. Legacies like this is that while a person, singular person, might be a decent person, makes us kind of want to look forward to a time where we won't get just words of, we're doing this, we're doing that, but we will get a Pope that will be action oriented and really go in and clean up any kind of real problematic issues within church. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm sure things have really waned. And I think that because there's such a spotlight on the Catholic Church, I do feel that things have changed. I felt it just personally as a Catholic, going to church now and seeing things really change within the church. Even the way we do things is a little different. So I'm hoping for change. I'm hoping that we can all agree that church doesn't mean that people are perfect. There's still people in the church that are not perfect. There are still people that make a lot of mistakes. But having a Pope like Francis, he was a good representation of somebody who went into this not expecting it, not expecting to be this at the top, and carried such a heavy burden and toll of really changing the face of the Catholic Church and really bringing it back to what we wanted, which is a church that represents Christ, So I don't know. I think one of these years I need to go see St. Peter's Basilica, because that's important to me. He seemed like a pretty great man. I couldn't find anything that was any huge red flags. There's some other popes before him that weren't that great. Have a great day and think for yourself.